Hi everyone, this is Anastasia, and in today's video I'm going to be making a collage based off my September art journal prompts post using Canva. So what I'm going to do is start with the color palette that corresponds with September's birthstone, which is sapphire. So I have this color palette which I found on colorlovers.com. and I've uploaded it to my Canva account. And so what I'm doing now is going into the photo colors, and it has automatically pulled the colors from that color palette and put them up there. So I'm selecting what color I want for my background, and I selected a dark blue, and then I'm just removing the color palette because I don't need it anymore. And so now I'm going into my vintage paper collection, which I have saved all these vintage paper images into a folder in my image collection on Canva. I'm selecting a bookend paper, which I'm pretty sure I got that from the Library of Congress website. And I'm stretching it so it fits the canvas. And then I'm going to transparency and just bringing it down to where it starts blending in with the background color, and then I'm blocking it. If you don't lock it, then the background image will try to become the actual background, and I don't want that. I want it layered on top of the background color. So by locking it, it won't move anywhere. It's just going to stay there. Okay, so now I'm looking through my collection of vintage paper items to add more stuff, and I like these stamps a lot. I use them in a lot of my collages. And I've also selected a handwritten letter, which I think I got from the Library of Congress website, and the stamps are from Pixabay. I'll have a link to all these resources in the description below. Everything was free. Okay, so now I've just placed them on there, and I am going to filter them slightly so they look more, so they look better together, because the letter was a little bit too bright and I wanted it to have the same color tone as the stamps. So now I'm going into my flowers and plants images collection, and I recently downloaded a bunch of leaves from Pixabay.com. I found these on Pixabay.com. I'm just clicking a bunch to add them onto the canvas and see what I like. So I've got some transparent leaves. I've got one really kind of neat yellow leaf, which I think must be a scan of a real leaf. And I'm looking through my flower collection and adding a couple illustrated green plants. I don't know exactly what they are. I got them from Pixabay as well. Okay, so now I'm just placing them kind of where I think they look good. When I'm doing duplicates of the same image, I do try to flip the other set and turn them so they don't look exactly like I just copied and pasted them in the exact same way. And now I'm moving the leaves into position. This is really just intuitive. Like if I think it looks good, then that's where I'm going to put it. And I move stuff around a lot, which is one of the nice things about working on a digital collage. I can move things until I think it looks good. So this yellow leaf gave me some trouble. So I like the idea of using it, but I don't think it actually goes with the kind of gold tone transparent leaves. It doesn't go with the other stuff that I've put on there. So you can see I've tried to hide it behind those green leaves. It just doesn't work for me. I'm going to try moving it. Maybe it doesn't look good behind the green leaves. Maybe this gold leaf needs to move. Maybe I need another gold leaf. Yeah, I do. So I'm going to put it up there. Another rule, the rule of 3 is a good thing to have in your collages, where you have 3 of the same kind of similar items in different points on your collage to draw the eye around. And so I put the gold leaf on there, And then I'm lowering the transparency because I like it more as a texture than as an image that's going to stand out. So I'm doing that for all of those transparent kind of leaves and making them, you know, blend in with the background. And then kind of adjusting those green things a bit. The yellow leaf is still bothering me, so I'm moving it. Does it look good there? Move it here. I don't know. Should I move it up there? Still kind of staring at it, and then I just deleted it. It just didn't go with the rest of the collage that I was working on. And here I am making another copy of the gold leaf and moving it over there to try and make it all look harmonious. And you can, when you're moving things backwards and forwards, the layers, when you're moving layers back and forth, you can use the little menu up on the top right there, or you can use the key shortcut. And I think it's faster to use the key shortcut. So if you see layers suddenly move back and forth without me clicking on that thing, it's because I was doing it on the keyboard. So here I am in my vintage animals folder, looking for kind of something that would go with what I think September is. First I thought that moth was good, and I do like the colors, but I think this, I think it's a butterfly. The blue in the butterfly reminds me of the sapphire color, so I decided to keep that. And now I need my focus image. So I had picked out this lady on the telephone from the Library of Congress. I thought a telephone center focused image would be good because it's on, I think it's like National Telephone Day or something like that in September. So at first I thought this lady would be good. However, I don't keep the photos exactly like that, so I usually end up cutting out the backgrounds for it. And Canva has got a background remover, so I'm going to try using that now. Okay, so that's what it removed, which is too much, obviously. The telephone is gone. Here we are zooming in. You can see the telephone is gone and the cord's kind of trailing off into nowhere. Where you can go and restore part of the image back, but I am honestly not great at this. I should have adjusted the brush size as well, but as I was working on this, I realized that I didn't actually like this image with the rest of the collage because this lady is from the 1960s. These other image elements are like Victorian, maybe 1920s at the latest, and the 1960s lady just didn't go. So I just removed her. I'm going back into my collection and looking for someone else. So you can see I've got a bunch of people here. I have some people that are pre-cut out already, but I've used them a lot in other collages and I don't want to use them too much more. So I kind of skip over them. I tried this family at first and then I ran into this error. So sometimes the background remover doesn't work. Either the original file size is too big or the image is too complicated for it. So if I really want that image cut out, I'll go to another website to do it, but I'm not attached to that image for here. So now I'm going into my illustrated people collection. Most of these I got from Pixabay. Actually, I think all of them I got from Pixabay. Nothing really standing out. Maybe this lady. So here's the illustrated lady. I do like the color of her dress, but she doesn't have the vibe that I'm going for. I think that her head's too small, I think, for what for what I want this collage to be. I tried moving the butterfly. Maybe that'll help. No, it's not. She's too small. It won't work. Try adjusting her coloring. Maybe that'll help her stand out. You know, adjust the butterfly's coloring so it doesn't compete with the lady. That's kind of better. I mean, it's not bad, but she just looks too small on there. It's not really working for me. Here I am trying to add in maybe like an extra element to help her stand out. So I have these watercolor blobs that I got from, I think they were from Pixabay again. And this one I'm sending it to the back behind everything else, except for the layer that we have locked down. And so I put it back there. That's a little better. I actually do really like that. But I don't like that lady. So I deleted her. Just removed her right out. And so now I'm going into Canva's image collection and I'm looking up vintage woman. And I'm selecting static because I don't want it to be animated, and I'm selecting free because I don't want to have to worry about using a pro image because the licenses are different. So just use a free one. And I like this lady with the dog. That has very early fall vibes to me. I like her a lot, so I'm going to put her in, and she's a good size, so I'm just going to adjust that. And that looks good. And so now this butterfly is looking kind of weird to me, but I tend to do a lot of butterfly wings behind people as if they were fairies. So I just do that. I think that looks pretty good. And now I'm adjusting their colors. I use the Nordic filter a lot because it tones the colors down, and sometimes the colors are brighter than others, and if I use Nordic, I can adjust the intensity to where they're all kind of the same or more intense if that's what I want instead. So you can see I'm playing around with some of these filters to see, and I actually ended up deciding to go to the adjustment menu because I like the Nordic thing, but I wanted her to have a slightly blue tint. So I'm just manually adjusting the brightness and the contrast, and slightly, just adjusting kind of everything. You can see what it's looking like. Turn her slightly blue, and that's what I want. So that looks good to me. And now I'm looking at it going, okay, now something has to go up into the top right there because obviously there's nothing up there and it looks really weird. So now I'm going to do another vintage paper thing. So this is from, I think it's from Pixabay, or it's from Canva, and I'm also going to put it up at the top to kind of make it match. Hope I put it too far. There we go. Oh my god. It's the leaf. Okay, see, the leaf was messing up my layers. So now I move the leaf over and I'm moving that layer up so you can still see the leaf and you can see the little image. And this tag is, that's not a tag, what is that? Zinc? Well, it says zinc tags. I think it's from Pixabay again, or I got it from Library of Congress, something like that. It's just I think it's an advertisement. I'm just gonna add it. The colors go with the rest of the collage, so it works. So now I'm selecting, I guess it's like a title block, I'm not sure. I don't know what the name is for it. It's where I'm gonna put the title of the collage. So I'm moving it back there, so it goes like that. And that image is from Library of Congress. I think it's another book page that I've had saved for a long time. And it kind of goes with the colors in the green plants. So, and then here's another piece of a book page. Checking the layers. Okay, and now I'm going to get that watercolor thing again and put it up at the top. There we go. Because it was too dark in that top corner, the top left corner, too dark. So when you add the watercolor thing, it looks better, and it's not just one watercolor thing floating around, there's two of them. I like to work in multiples. And now I'm adjusting the intensities of these green plants because I realized that they were too dark. And this one I'm actually doing grayscale and then lowering the intensity. The other one was really bright. This one's more vintage. It's what I like in my collage. Anyway, okay. So now we're adding the title. So I have my fonts automatically set to my favorite ones and my brand I think it's my brand settings, something like that, and I use a typewriter font. This first one I'm using as a featured image for my blog, so I'm putting the blog title in here, which is September Art Journal Prompts. And I'm just adjusting the font sizes so it all looks good. And I'm going to duplicate that so I don't have to try and squish the art journal prompts line up onto the September line. I don't like it when it looks too squished, and this doesn't look bad to me. And now I'm adjusting the font spacing, the letter spacing. There it is. Letter spacing, because I want it to look more like a title. So I'm spreading it out a little bit. That looks good to me. And I'm also adding my blog address as a watermark. As a watermark. There we go. I always put these on my collages and on my featured images because I share them on different websites, so I want to make sure people know how to find me. Okay, so now I'm looking for a swirl because I was looking at the collage and I'm like, it's missing something. And usually when it's missing something, it's missing a swirl. I love to use these. I use them in almost all my collages. I think it just ties the piece together. So once again, I've searched for non-animated and free swirls, and I'm picking one. And I'm stretching it so it fits the page, changing the color to something that corresponds with the rest of the piece. And then I'm picking this light blue, changing the transparency to very, very light, very faint. It's more of a texture. And here I accidentally closed out my collage. And I have to reopen it again. That happens sometimes when I use the keyboard shortcuts. I hit too many buttons and don't pay attention, and then I close out my collage. Luckily it auto saves when you use Canva, so I can just open it back up again and we're fine. You can see the swirls in the background. It's all there. I just need to move it back. Yeah. And I'm moving it one layer forward so it's on top of that first layer that we put back there. Now I'm making a copy and putting something on the bottom. Now this, I think, actually ended up being hidden. Yeah, I don't even think you can see it, but I know it's there. And so now I'm checking it. I'm zooming in to 100% and I'm looking at all the elements and checking to see that they work together and that they look okay. And I'm making slight adjustments. Oh, and I realized that I wanted more of the stamps, so I duplicated that blue stamp and I'm putting it in a couple places down below. I went for the blue stamp over the red stamp because blue is the color theme for September. And I'm going back into my vintage paper collection, and I have some cancellations, which I got from Canva, and I like using these a lot. So I'm just cropping it so it only shows those two cancellations right there. And I'm putting them over the stamps on the left, and then just moving the layers back behind the green plants. And I'm using the desktop shortcut. What's it called? The keyboard shortcut. Now I'm just staring at something going, it's missing something. Something is wrong. And I'm clicking on here trying to figure out which layer has what I'm looking for. So I'm adjusting the transparency of that watercolor so it slightly more blends in with the rest of the page. It looks better to me. I'm looking down here and I'm going, that leaf that I put down here is not visible anymore, so I'm trying to click on it and bring it up to the front, which you can see it better now. There it is. Now I'm, just moving it back there. So now it's where I can actually see it, which is good. Okay, and more filter adjustments. It's all just little tweaks. It's all little tweaks. Okay, so this looked pretty good, but something is still missing down at the bottom. So I'm going to copy this and drag it down here and just put this down at the bottom to continue that color in a third location. Technically it's a third one, right? Because I've got two at the top. So I'm just moving it back. Now I have to change my blog address because it's white and you can't read it, so now it's black. Yeah, I like having that strip of color there. Checking over the collage now. It's always good to zoom in and out to see what your collage looks like close up. My computer screen is not huge. I mean, it's like a standard MacBook size. Sometimes you don't see things and they're blurry or they have weird colors and you don't notice until you zoom in. Okay, so now I've realized that actually I was supposed to do the collage title and not my blog post title. So I duplicated the page and I'm just editing I'm deleting the text and then adding the actual text, which is part of a quote, which can be found in the PDF for the September prompts or in the blog post. It's the same font, so I don't have to worry about that. It just automatically picks my typewriter font. I don't need as big of a strip because a smaller amount of text, so I'm just adjusting things there. Doesn't look too bad. Now I'm adjusting the line spacing because the automatic line spacing is usually not what I like. I like it a little closer together. Tokens doesn't look as separated from the rest of the line now. And that's it. The collage is done and we can see what the final design is. Here it is. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and it gave you some ideas of how to make your own vintage inspired collage on Canva. If you want to know tips or tricks on how to make your collage in Canva or on your computer, please check out my website, azfinch.com. And thanks for watching.